gotta say, this episode of Raw had probably better storytelling than I was expecting, especially in the Intercontinental Championship picture, though it still did some things that I didn't really care for. Also, engaged in some really odd booking decisions. Let's talk about Raw from May the 20th, 2024. Let's start with the King and Queen of the Ring. Lyra Valkyria defeated Io Sky to win the Raw bracket for the women. Interesting decision to have Lyra Valkyria win. Of all the NXT talent that you called up and you decided to push, Lyra Valkyria being the one who gets to the finals, not Tiffany Stratton, not Carmelo Hayes, not Ilya Dragunov, but Lyra Valkyria. Man, that Becky Lynch rub must be something else, huh? A lot of people are negative on Lyra Valkyria. I always thought that she was okay. I don't like her personality on Raw. She's very bland, I'm happy to be here. But her match with Io was very good. Io did a really good job. They gave her the mermaid vignette from her NXT days, which is basically she just does underwater promos about, people needing to bow down to her because she's going to be the queen of the ring. But this win, really good match. Good surprise win. She didn't win in dominant fashion over Io. She countered a counter of her finish and rolled her up and hooked the leg. So it was solid enough where you gave Io a complaint, but, Lyra actually won. So now I'm at the point now where I'm actually thinking that, Lyra might win this tournament, depending on what they do with Bianca and Nia Jax. I think that Lyra Valkyria is actually the favorite to win this tournament now. Bianca doesn't lose a lot, but they've been telling the story that she's got a bad leg. And the likelihood that they could just use the bad leg as an excuse for her to lose in the finals, that could be the way to go. I don't know. I'm very interested now. But good match between the two people. I just wish that Lyra Valkyria's personality was better. And that she had a gimmick or something. Now her whole thing is she's basically Becky Lynch's little buddy. I don't like that very much. In the main event, Gunther defeated Jey Uso with a head and arm choke, which basically had almost no heat to it. Earlier in the night, Gunther cut a promo in the empty arena saying that he told Jey Uso that simple gestures are for simple people, but he was wrong. He was very impressed by Jey Uso. Now Jey Uso is the hottest person in the company, and the building will be filled with people filling with hope and illusion, but he's in the business of taking hope away. That tonight is about who is the best wrestler, and Jey might be the better showman, but he is the better wrestler. Jey Uso says that he had Gunther beat previously when they wrestled for the Intercontinental Championship, and this time he's going to finish the job. Now, they ended up having the match. It was a solid match. You could tell that Gunther is, in some ways, wrestling around Jey. All Jey's got to do is be convincing and selling, which is what he did. He was very good at selling, at least. But, again, Jey Uso's moveset, very limited. Typical WWE babyface, 5-6 moves. I think his might actually just be 3. It might just be like 3 or 4. I guess if you want to count, is the super kick count as a move? If that's the case, then it's only 3. I think he might do a Samoan drop. Might. And Gunther is working around it. He gave Gunther most of the match. The chops were violent. Them chops sounded nasty. Jey Uso got a big hope spot after Gunther was injuring the shoulder and arm. He hit the spear, but he ended up knocking the referee down accidentally. The referee is slow to get to the cover, and Gunther ends up kicking out of the Uso splash. This led to more working of the arm as Jey Uso tried to fight back in frustration after a splash. And I think he did a powerbomb too before that. He put him in a head and arm choke, and the referee stopped the match. because Jey Uso was not able to respond. So Gunther goes to the final of the King of the Ring tournament, where I hope he wrestles Randy Orton. And because Gunther and Randy Orton would be money. Like I said, I really hope. Well, look, it can't be anything other than Randy Orton. It would be really ridiculous for it to be Tama Tonga. Because for starters, it's heel versus heel at that point, and it's really stupid. And so it's got to be Randy Orton. And Randy Orton and Gunther probably deserves a storyline, not to be thrown together in a tournament, but we got it. We could take it how we get it. So Gunther had a really good match with Jey Uso. Can't complain there. He's going to have a banger with Randy. So I think that the idea that Gunther will win the King of the Ring is extremely high. I thought it was extremely high when the tournament was announced. And I haven't really changed my opinion on that. So I think Gunther is going to be the one. So that's King and Queen of the Ring. They didn't populate the show too much because clearly there was only one match apiece for each tournament. So they didn't eat up a lot of time. What did eat up a lot of time here, though, was the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn came out there, tried to explain to us the mind, body, and soul concept that they're doing here, where the mind is Chad Gable. He's manipulating the Alpha Academy. He thinks he's super smart, because he calls himself the master. And then you have Bronson Reed, who's the body. All he cares about is the championship. All he cares about is business. Later on, Bronson Reed said he's going to use his body as a weapon. And you've got the soul, who is Sami Zayn. The guy who wants the Alpha Academy to listen to the people. Don't listen to Chad Gable. Do what you know is right. Gable comes out there, was upset that he was called manipulative. Then he said he's being too nice because he coached Sami Zayn. It wasn't manipulative when he told Sami Zayn what to do in order to beat Gunther. Was that manipulative then? That was a good question. That was a good point. He then started calling the Alpha Academy clowns, went through each one of them being a loser, said that Otis was the most disappointing of them all. Then Sami Zayn asked them, when are you guys going to stop taking this garbage from him? You don't have to take that garbage from him. Then they ended up with their match. Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn. Chad Gable is berating Alpha Academy. Then Tozawa and Maxine Dupree actually walk off. They leave him. But Otis is still at his side. Chad Gable starts abusing Otis. He slaps him at one point, which is like the second time in as many weeks as he slapped Otis. Otis then reluctantly helps Chad Gable, and Chad Gable pins Sami Zayn with the Chaos Theory. So he pinned the Intercontinental Champion, which is dumb, but this match being non-title is dumb in any event. So Sami Zayn lost. How about that? Later, Otis actually goes to apologize to Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn actually in some ways accepts the apology because he knows that Otis is a good guy, and but he was really disappointed in Otis for helping him. So he says, look, stop listening to Chad Gable, start listening to the people. And the people start chanting for Otis, which was right on cue. Good job. And you would think Sami Zayn would be angrier about losing a match, but since it was non-title, maybe he didn't care. But he was fairly normal with Otis, a guy who just screws you out of a match. Very weird. Later, Chad Gable is yucking it up with the Creed brothers, so they're starting that right now. He shows up, the number one guy, Otis, shows up. Chad Gable's excited to see him. He's got his ticket, he's got his clothes and everything. He's ready to take Otis with him to Saudi. So Otis admitted that he went to apologize to Sami Zayn. Chad Gable's like, strategy. You went to go soften him up, pull on his heartstrings. And Otis is like, yeah, maybe not. So Chad Gable thinks Otis is on his side. Otis says that he's going to help him win the championship, and they part ways to see each other again on Friday. So I like what they're doing with Otis. I didn't see this coming, But having Otis be in the middle, so they could play tug of war with him, is really good for the audience. And once again, Otis is over. Like, I don't know how many times Otis has to get over before people actually start, using him. But once again, Otis is over. It's like the fourth time, brother. Otis just keeps getting over, and people just keep, ignoring it. I don't know what you could do with him, but now he's over again. I would imagine Gable has to win that belt and defend it against Otis, right? I would imagine so, but that would be story stuff, right? Sami Zayn just doesn't fit, at least not in this. He's doing basically what he was doing in the Bloodline. When he was to tell Jey, you're better than this, you don't need to deal with this, blah, blah, blah. Same thing here. It's almost the exact same story. All right. Bron Breakker destroys some jobber, the Jobberello. He got speared, then thrown outside the ring, speared on the floor. Then he got put back in the ring, speared again. The referee stopped it because the guy couldn't defend himself. Bron Breakker was pissed, very, very pissed. Decided he was going to destroy this guy. He ended up crushing his head with some steel steps and a chair. It seemed very excessive. Very excessive. Then they stretchered the guy out. Adam Pearce is very mad at Bron Breakker. He goes over there trying to figure out what's going on. And Bron Breakker is still quite salty about not being put in the King of the Ring tournament and said, this is on your hands. This leads us to Dragunov and Ricochet. So Dragunov is backstage. He's looking very spiffy in his suit. Nice little blue suit. He looks like a mobster from the 1930s. And he's talking about Jey Uso being the kind of guy you have to destroy yourself to beat. I mean, he really put Jey over. Ricochet walks up to him. Now, Ricochet is dressed very nice, He looks like he's about to go to church. Very nice little suit he got there. I was very impressed by the suit games on here. Maybe you want to start wearing a suit. Then out of nowhere, Bron Breakker just spears Ricochet and just takes him out. Just took him right clean on out. He's down bad. Dragunov was standing right there. He got knocked over, but he didn't get it as bad as Ricochet got it. And Ricochet over there suffering. I mean, he's tender to the touch. That boy in trouble. That boy need help. So Bron Breakker is just angry guy who's going to go around mowing people down. That's okay. it's something, I guess. So I'm guessing his first real feud is going to be with Ricochet, which doesn't help Ricochet at all because, well, look, who cares about Ricochet's been there forever. So, like, what difference do it make if it helps Ricochet or not? I was about to say, man, damn, isn't he like the speed champion? But who cares about that belt? It's not even visible on television. It doesn't exist canonically on Monday Night Raw. But they might be building up to a Dragunov Bron Breakker thing, with Dragunov being, knocked over in this situation and him being pretty upset about that. And I guess they're trying to, pull off a little bit of a maybe he was injured when he was knocked over kind of gimmick. I don't know. But Bron Breakker what they're doing with him is pretty generic in terms of he's just a generic bruiser. I think him losing his theme song, him not having direction, that stuff is becoming a real problem, I like that he's the guy that's going out there beating jobbers, but then again, other people should too, Other people should be getting that same presentation as well to show off their character, to show off who they are. So it's the start of something, but I don't know how quickly they're going to be looking to elevate him at the moment. Because it looks like they might do an injury angle with Ricochet and, bring him back later. Also, you got Adam Pearce is pretty upset at Bron Breakker, so I'm imagining that there's going to be some development there as well. But I'm not really blown away by what they're doing with Bron Breakker. It is infinitely better than, Carmelo Hayes losing a bunch and Tiffany Stratton losing a bunch. It's better than that, but it's not giving itself to really showing us who Bron Breakker is or what his character is. I don't even really understand why he's a heel. Like, I'm not sure why we're supposed to dislike him. Like, we don't care about this jobber guy. So, you know. And do we really care about Ricochet? Most of us don't. So, it's hard for us to give a damn about, the people you're destroying when, one, this guy's a jobber. Yeah, he didn't do anything to deserve it, but we're not emotionally invested in that guy either. So, I mean, who cares? All right, so they did the tag team championship match. The Awesome Truth defeated the Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Backstage, Damian Priest goes over to Carlito. Carlito apparently attacked Cruz del Toro earlier in the night, and because they're doing whodunits when it comes to the LWO for like the past 3 or 4 months. So now Cruz del Toro is down. Carlito admitted that it was him and said that now he's just going to hang out with the Judgment Day until the heat dies down. And Damian Priest is like, this ain't, Acolyte Protection Agency. We're not here to protect you. So they reminded Damian Priest that Carlito did his job last week. He helped. So Damian Priest was like, okay, as long as you keep helping us out, we'll look after you. So he wanted them to win the tag team championships. Finn Balor wished it was him and Damian Priest challenging for the belts, but he understood. Then they go out there to have this really boring match that I didn't really want to watch. I'm just not interested at all in Awesome Truth. This is one of those things where, okay, they got the WrestleMania moment, but it should have been over by now. It should have been over. This is going nowhere. Earlier in the night, R-Truth is talking to small-foot European guys, and he's talking about how he's got Andre the Giant on their side. This gimmick for R-Truth, which is him thinking that wrestlers are other wrestlers, is not nearly as funny as, what it was a couple of years ago. I don't know what it is, but he's more, it feels like he's trying hard now, as opposed to before where it felt like a little bit more naturally, he's kind of ditzy or slow or something like that. Now it feels like R-Truth is trying to outsmart everybody. Like he's calling people, like he called Braun Strowman Andre the Giant. And The Miz was like, oh, Andre, passed away 30 some odd years ago. And he's like, no, dog, I got Andre the Giant. And I'm like, oh boy, how do you get Braun Strowman and Andre the Giant mixed up? Like, you can't even be that slow. Like getting the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank mixed up, all that kind of stuff. It felt organic. And even though we know it was pure silliness, but this feels a little bit forced. And I think the push of R-Truth has been more problematic than anything because there's an idiot savant level to it. It's almost Looney Tune-like, where, this is a guy who can't tell one person from another, yet he was smart enough to have backup prepared, knowing they were going to get jumped. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's not hitting, and the mics was shit too. So when they did R-Truth's entrance, it wasn't very good. I barely watched this. I actually kind of zoned out a little bit. I didn't care to see this at all. Awesome Truth win when Carlito and Dominic are taken care of by Braun Strowman. Later, Damian Priest is upset about this, and so is Finn Balor. They're both upset about this. Damian Priest wants JD McDonough to challenge Braun Strowman for our match next week. And he doesn't look thrilled to do it. But Finn Balor seconded that motion and said, well, yeah, I think you should go and do that. So JD McDonough is going to walk straight into an alligator's mouth next week. That's not even going to be fun. That guy sucks. Braun Strowman doesn't exactly suck. He doesn't rule like a giant guy usually does. Maybe give him a little bit more time, he'll go back to ruling ass like he was in like 2018 or whatever. But this Judgment Day thing, shrug. Drew McIntyre cut a promo on this show where basically he says that Damian Priest is Seth Rollins all over again. That he's spreading himself too thin with this Carlito stuff and the tag team stuff and all the injuries and everything that he's got going on. He also says that he's playing Damian Priest like a fiddle, while all Damian Priest is playing with is his eyeliner. So it's like Drew McIntyre is feuding with drag queens, apparently. I don't get that. People started chanting CM Punk at Drew McIntyre too, which means that his angle with CM Punk is over. Despite the fact that CM Punk is not doing his best work, the angle is at least over. Speaking of over, Karrion Kross still not over. He went over talking to Xavier Woods, trying to get him to turn things around. I don't know where we're going with this. I have no earthly idea where we're going with this, but we're going somewhere. The wheels are moving. I'm not sure where we're going, but the wheels are moving. The wheels are moving for some reason. So I guess we're going to have to figure it out when we get there. They did another really stupid fatal four-way match, this time for the tag team #1 contendership for the women. A Damage Control, which is Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane, versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, versus Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile, versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Oh, I didn't want to watch this either. Sonya Deville, who was great, she popped up earlier to create the Unified Lesbian Council with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, but they didn't want to talk to her. So I guess they'll talk to her some other time. Sonya Deville rules. She's really good at talking and wrestling. Hopefully she gets a better chance under, Triple H, even though I'm pretty sure she won't. Because it seemed like she has such untapped potential, especially when she was full heel in 2020, 2021. Yes, that the home break-in thing kind of blew it up, and it was hard for her to get heat after that. But she was doing a really good job when she was feuding with Mandy. She really bloomed into something else. And I liked when she was the heel general manager of SmackDown. She was great there. Sonya Deville, one of my favorites. And I think she's incredibly underutilized. If they're going to try to make her the personality for Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, the Unified Council of Lesbians, this is not going to be good. Because Zoe Stark still looks like Kermit the Frog. And Shayna Baszler still looks like an old lady. Like, it's just no way for you to beat this thing. You're not going to make it good just by adding Sonya Deville to it. But whatever. Shit. Asuka's apparently injured. So that's why Kairi Sane is teaming up with Dakota Kai. And it seemed like Dakota Kai injured herself in this match too. She took a German suplex and then it looked like she hurt her shoulder or something. That girl always hurt. She's my age, I think. I think Dakota Kai's like 38 or something like that. Jesus Christ. So Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark win the match. I immediately groaned because Triple H, his affinity for these two women, he need a CAT scan. All right. Somebody need to do an x-ray to see if he got crayons in his brain or something like that. What about this guy tells you you should instantly push Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark whenever possible? Please, and the small foot European guys. Enough. The Unified Lesbian Council and the small foot European guys. We don't want to see those people. All right. Take all of those people and you can, I don't care what you do with them. You can create a separate show just for them. I don't want to see these people. These people suck. I don't care how good Zoe Stark is in the ring. She's got the personality of brand new toilet paper. All right. Just useless. She's a useless woman. She's a good mechanic. That's about it. She might be a great trainer one day, but she ain't going to be an over successful women's world champion. I don't see that right now. I'll be glad if I'm wrong. But as of right now, I don't see Zoe Stark ever getting up to that point. I see her being a Cesaro for the girls. All right. That's it. At most. She can't talk. She has no personality. She doesn't seem to have a sense of humor at all. And zero sex appeal. Just no fun at all with Zoe Stark. At least Shayna Baszler is humorous in how she plays the straight woman in teams with Nia Jax or with some of the other people that she's tag team with. She's usually a good straight girl. The other person has the personality and Shayna Baszler does good reactions. That's usually at least she's good for that. Zoe Stark, I haven't even seen that out of her yet. Again, Zoe Stark is somebody they spent weeks with Trish Stratus with her. If Trish Stratus can't get you over, it's done for. It's done for. I couldn't imagine if Trish Stratus had spent like 8 weeks with Tiffany Stratton, how over she would be. Or Mandy Rose, or somebody like that. How over would that woman be? But she spent damn near all of 2022, or maybe was that 2023? I don't even remember what year it was anymore. Hanging around with Zoe Stark, and Zoe Stark is less over now than she was before. So it seems to be an inverted relationship. The more you push Zoe, the more people don't care. Triple H, get it through your fucking brain. She sucks ass. Next, Ludwig Kaiser is talking trash about Sheamus. He said Sheamus got 2 choices: to either stay at home and continue being a keyboard warrior, or show up so he can end his career. I don't know why Kaiser wants to fight Sheamus. He got a big problem with Sheamus. I actually like the idea of Kaiser and Sheamus, though. I like that. It sounds good. I like it. I can't wait for Sheamus to show up and kick Kaiser's shit in. He's going to earn it. He's earned it. Now, we did a lot with Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch on this show. Liv Morgan, first, she slapped Lyra Valkyria earlier in the night after Lyra won her Queen of the Ring tournament match. And Becky Lynch was super excited for her. And she slapped Lyra Valkyria, which was hilarious. So then they had this really terrible promo segment. Oh, my word. Becky Lynch, oh, my goodness, God almighty. What is this? What is she doing? What is this gimmick she's doing? I don't know. But she talked about how Liv Morgan never beat her. Liv Morgan now attacking people from behind. I think this is a winning strategy. So Liv Morgan comes out there, says that Becky Lynch is gaslighting everybody, that Becky Lynch hit her last week, and that she bailed on Becky Lynch because she doesn't care about Becky Lynch. Then she says that she only cares about completing her revenge tour. So Becky Lynch says, oh, finally, you got a reason to be here after 10 years. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Because it's true. It's true. And Bex went on this whole thing about how she spent 22 years every day pushing for the same goal, the main event WrestleMania, to be the top in the industry, to break barriers, do blah, 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 blah. And she's been doing all that stuff. And Liv Morgan just figured it out, what she's want to do, and she's been here for 10 years, which is nutty. The more you say it, the crazier it sounds. And she says, okay, so let's say you do win this match. What are you going to do afterwards? And Liv Morgan says that she's just going to be at the top as the women's world champion, which, is a thing that she wants to be. They do the old, we can fight right now, and Liv like, nope, don't want to fight right now. And she ducks out. So that was pretty much that segment. The match is set for Saudi Arabia. It will be Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch at King and Queen of the Ring. I do not believe Liv Morgan is going to win the championship here. It would probably make good storyline sense for her to win the title, but her and Becky Lynch, neither one of them are on top of their game right now, if we're being honest. Liv Morgan, boy, she's been getting pushed a lot lately. She was in the media for some really weird stuff. Not only did she just do like this really weird interview where this guy was trying to shoot his shot over the phone, which was cringe as all hell, just super cringe. But she also got pulled over, and some police officer was reading her diary. She had like a diary with all the things that she wanted to do. Like she wanted to be, get into the WWE and be a women's champion, yada, yada, yada. And the police officer was like, the name doesn't sound familiar. And then he finally, when he saw who she looked like, he was like, oh, I know her. But a lot of people was like super upset that this police officer was reading her diary out loud, which is, feel like an invasion of privacy. But it wasn't nothing embarrassing in there. Like, she let Max nut in her, and then, she ghosted him. Like, it wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't like some kind of Doug Funny kind of situation, but it was kind of an invasion of privacy. You know, police officers reading your diary onto a camera. Like, what the hell was he doing that for? But in any event, that was just one of the weird things that she was involved with this week. You know, like, I don't even know what, I don't know what, I think it's Funny Marco that she was doing. And when she talked about being single and she's not really looking to date, but, you know, she's going to give a guy a chance to really blow her away. It's like, come on, girl. Shit, you a hot potato. Liv Morgan have like a different boyfriend like every 6 months. And it doesn't matter anyway. But she says that she's focused on her career. So she's a little young to be focused on her career, but I guess you got to be focused on something or other. Oh, and her friend Ruby Soho got pregnant and got married. So I guess she was hanging out with them too. That was all fine and dandy. That promo was terrible though. Her promo with Becky Lynch, not good. Not good. I don't believe Liv. She sounds kind of whiny. I don't believe Becky. She sounds very unfocused and manicky. And she's very skinny now, so it's hard to buy into anything that she says. So the Intercontinental Championship stuff is decent. I'm not feeling Sami Zayn as the champion, but Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy drama is worthwhile television. Especially since it got Otis back in the picture. The women's championship situation is terrible. It's not good. The women's tag team championship division ain't improving either. Jey Uso lost, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people is excited about, but I don't think it matters. Again, he hasn't won a championship. He doesn't have to become king of the ring. Gunther is continuing his push, which is good and proper. The tag team titles are in the dirt. Awesome Truth needs to go ahead and cough them belts up immediately. But there needs to be some storyline, you know, built into this. I'm tired with them and Judgment Day. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Judgment Day in general. They're not interesting anymore. JD McDonough has never been interesting. Finn Balor could be interesting, but he's a lackey right now. Damian Priest is the world champion and should be feuding with somebody, but he's not. I don't know what's going on with that world title. It's a disaster. There's just so much blandness all over Raw that I think we're lucky to have the Intercontinental Championship stuff going on and the Bron Breakker stuff. I'm just interested generally in Bron Breakker. So hopefully they turn that around too and make him a major player. I don't know what you do, how you do that, but you do something to make him a major player. Same thing with Ilya Dragunov, but if they're going to insist on the Unified Lesbian Council, the Smallfoot European guys, you know, dudes running around in eyeliner and women's clothes and a bunch of other stupid shit, I don't know what we're going to do about this show. Somebody's got to be on this show. It's got to be goddamn cool. And Braun has that ability to be cool. You know, and Braun Strowman also has the ability to be cool. So I guess we have to wait for somebody to actually be cool on this show. Otherwise, everybody's going to run around like a dork. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.